What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Devin Haney. Saw him training, looking sharp. He was sparring. Speed, timing, movement, everything was there. Defense was there. And of course, he called out, you know, Gervonta Tank Davis. He wants that fight. Last thing I heard from Haney was that he was going up to 140 because he couldn't get the fights at 135 that he wanted. But we haven't heard any talk about Gervonta Tank Davis going up. So I guess it's safe to assume that he's staying at 135. Who knows? Maybe he'll go up and then come back down for that fight if it happens or when it happens. Um, these two sparred before twice, and they had two solid sparring sessions according to him. Other people, Badu Jack, and Tank Davis himself. Um, a lot of people, you're always gonna get these people who whatever fight they don't like, oh he's ducking, he's scared, whatever. Yeah, Tank has no reason to be afraid of Devin. Devin has no reason to be afraid of Tank. Sometimes you just have your sights set on certain things, certain ways. Like I said, I'm not a know-it-all. I speak about what's in front of me. There's also we got to consider what we don't see. We don't know. We always like to assume and say, well, it's just this and it's just that. I guarantee it. You ain't guaranteeing me shit. At the end of the day, um, that's a fight I want to see. I think that would be a solid fight. And basically, I can't really pick a winner in that fight. Um, stylistically, when you look at them, they're very similar but different in certain ways. Devin Haney is more that he's tactical. He works off the jab. He keeps it long, but he comes in, he gets out. But he's relentless with it. He gets in, he gets out. It's very little time that goes by where he's not throwing a punch or doing something. He's giving angles all the time. He's coming in not in a straight line. He doesn't keep his head in one place. And he pops shots. He picks you apart, and he throws combinations when it's necessary. Tank does similar when getting in, getting out. He will evade punches, but Tank, he's more notorious for getting spectacular knockouts. That may be the biggest difference between the two of them. Is that the fact that when Tank gets you, he gets you out of there. And like Devin, they both can box. You know what I mean? But I think Tank looks for the. I can't say he looks for the knockout more. I just think that's just the way it happens in his fights that he's had so far. And of course, Devin Haney is, he's training right now to fight, Eureka's Gamboa. But yeah, people are going to be looking at that fight to compare, to see how he looks against him and then give their analysis on what they think is going to happen. And with me, again, like I said, man, I don't get caught up into to feelings. It's not about who I like or don't like. I'm just speaking about what I think is going to happen. I like both of them as fighters, man. I mean, I can't pick a winner in this one simply because stylistically, I don't see anyone as being dominant over the other. You know, um, and there's a lot to be said when you look at fighters that when people don't like a fighter, how they say things and they're so biased but don't realize it. Like example, everybody's saying Tank is dodging, he's ducking Lomachenko, right? I don't see him. I don't, me being a man, I'm not afraid of no goddamn body. So, I mean, I know that there are people that are, but it's like people love to just use that term ducking, ducking, ducking. This guy's ducking this guy, he's ducking that guy. And it's not always what you think, you know. But at the same time, do you hear Lomachenko calling out Devin Haney? And I'm not talking about somebody does an interview and say, would you like to fight Devin Haney? Oh, sure, yeah, why not? I'm talking, do you hear Lomachenko saying, hey, Devin Haney, since Tank is ducking me, I want you. Look at Gary Russell. He lost to Lomachenko. That's his only, look how long Gary Russell's been champion. And since that loss that he had to that one loss that he had to Lomachenko, why is nobody screaming for Lomachenko to give Gary Russell a rematch? But these same people are screaming, oh, these guys don't want no smoke with Gary Russell. Right? But then at the same time, it's like they're saying this guy's ducking this guy and this guy's ducking that guy. Let's just say it like this too. When a fighter is not eating the way he's supposed to, it's not always that they're hungrier, but they're more in need of that bigger fight than the person that they're saying is ducking. So, you're trying to get these money fights put together. Now, when people say, oh, but just say, for example, if they say, well, what if Tank lose? Then that's going to mess up, the interest in him versus Loma. Or what if Loma lose? Then it's going to mess up the interest, right? But you got to look at that both ways. Okay? So these guys are trying to stack that bank up. This is prize fighting. And any one of you that run your mouth and say, oh, he's a punk, he's a pussy because he's dodging him, it ain't all about money, you're stupid. Okay? Because let me explain something to you. Nobody is showing up to these fights to see Don fucking King. They're not showing up to see Bob Arum. They're not showing up to see Eddie Hearn. Okay? It's as simple as that. They're not showing up to see them. They're showing up to see the fighter. So when your promoter is eating better than you, you're the one taking punches, getting blows. Promoters don't get brain damage. They don't get Parkinson's. You understand what I'm saying? They don't get punch drunk. The fighters do. So if you think that the team doesn't sit down with these fighters and say, hey, look, man, I know you want this guy, but it doesn't make sense right now. Let that fight build up. If you don't think that that's what happens, not only do you not know shit about boxing, but you're just fucking stupid. Because if you put yourself in the same situations, you'd understand it better then. You think that just because we want to see a fight, we say two names, oh, automatic. No, it doesn't work that way. As much as I want to see these fights that's not happening, I do understand that things happen that we don't see. You understand what I'm saying? So all of this, I get so tired of talking to people and it's like duck, 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 duck. Like, listen, man, say that shit for another channel, man. I mean, I'm not against a person having an opinion, but like, have a fucking thinking process. Talk with some fucking intelligence. Don't just jump on here ready to put a comment just because you hear 50 other channels saying the same shit because they're all in cahoots with how they, these guys get together and plan what they're going to talk about, who they're going to talk about. Because if you think about it, not one of these channels that have a union together, not one of them cheer for opposite fighters. It's like you're either all in for Gervonta Tank Davis or you're all against him. You're either all in for Devin Haney or you're all against him. You don't see these guys debating with each other. No, they debate with other people that feel different from, the way they do. So when I say I can't pick a winner between Haney and Tank Davis, it's because, like I said, I just can't see, I don't see either one being dominant over the other. And looking at Devin Haney's skills, man, I mean, both of them, they're both solid, man. To me, it just comes down to who make the least mistakes and who's able to capitalize on every little moment that they get, the majority, because I just don't see one guy being dominant over the other guy. So it's really a hard fight for me. I really can't, it's like, I feel like that's a 50-50 fight. Let me put it that way. So now I'm not trying to be neutral. It's a 50-50 fight. So anyway, in that fight, I want to see it. Will it actually happen or not? Or when it's going to happen? We just gotta see. But yeah, watching Devin Haney train. And also, let me say this. It also can come down to discipline. Because let me be honest with you. I can't lean towards anybody in that fight. But if I had to lean towards anybody, right now, it would be Devin Haney. The reason that I would, if right now, is because, in all honesty, and I'm not saying he's not training, but I don't see Tank training at all. Any videos I see of Tank, he looks overweight. He looks chubby. And it's not training videos. It's just him on Instagram or just walking around with his friends, chilling. Like, Devin Haney's like in the gym, always putting that work in. So hunger and commitment, discipline, that all plays a factor. So if I had to just pick right now from what I'm seeing, I would have to go with Devin Haney in that sense. But I mean, skill for skill, I can't really say. I can't really pick, man. It's a 50-50 fight. I think, like I said, it comes down to who make the least mistakes or who's able to capitalize on the mistakes, that their opponents are making. Anyway, but that's a fight I want to see, and that's all I'm going to say on this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.